Tony Makuch, I'm Simon Catt from Catt Calls in Arlington. Welcome back to London. Why are you here?
Well, I think we're here to see some shareholders. We had a conference yesterday to meet things, and we came here to meet BlackRock, one of our most significant shareholders.
And so if I think back to a year ago, Tony, you had and still have the world's largest undeveloped silver mine in Mexico, the Cordero asset, and now you're a Canadian gold miner. What are you most proud of in terms of the evolution of going back to your roots, Canadian gold mining, how the last year has transpired?
Well, I mean, with Cordero, I mean, one of the biggest things as we were developing Cordero, and I seen Cordero as a tier one asset in a silver place and something that can be developed, but we recognize that, one of the best ways we as a company, how do we get a cash flowing business or how do we transform the company from just a junior explorer and a developer into a mid-tier producer in the space. And by doing what we did with the Porcupine transaction, it all of a sudden changes us from being this developer, an exploration company with a big project that we need to find a way to finance. So all of a sudden, we're generating cash flow, got a strong balance sheet, and we're able to finance that. And the biggest part about that is we're able to do that with acquiring the Porcupine assets, which we picked up from Newmont. We have a lot of, because we're from Timmins and because we have a lot of people with a lot of knowledge in the camp, we bring a lot of intellectual property to these assets that maybe others didn't have. So it gives us some maybe a competitive advantage or an advantage in terms of what we want to advance that. So it was kind of a double win where we take Cordero and we take Discovery from a junior exploration company with a big development asset. We transform the company into a mid-tier producer, with a strong balance sheet, generating cash flow, with the ability now to finance Cordero if we want to build it. But we just happen to have one of the best gold assets and own. Not only do we changed ourselves to a gold company, but we picked up one of the senior land position in one of the great gold camps in the world.
Right. Was there anything that surprised you now being on the inside of the Porcupine acquisition versus looking in from the outside?
Well, I mean, there's no surprise or negative. I mean, in the end, you look at it and you say, what is nice there is to see that after even it kind of verifies our thoughts that even after 100 and some odd years of mining in the Timmins camp, there's still lots of gold left. I mean, we did underline the over 15 million ounces of resources. We believe that there's significant exploration upside. We can not only find that but double that over the next few years. So was there anything that we were surprised about? No. I mean, I think we're just happy to see that that there's still lots of opportunity left now, with recognizing though we're in a good gold market, right? We have and then for Cordero we are also in a good silver market. So.
And speaking of the gold price, the silver price have roughly doubled or so in the last year. How do you future-proof the business, given that the gold and silver price could go down as well as up?
Well, I think fundamentally, we're price takers in our industry, not price makers, and always what we got to do is we have to run our business and try to be as how we want to say efficient, direct. We got to run businesses that make money. We've got to set ourselves up to be in the lower half of the cost curve in our industry. And I've seen enough of the cycles around. Yeah, we might be at $50 silver, but as we have Cordero, we in our feasibility study we expect to be producing somewhere around $13 an ounce. We don't want those costs to be $25 an ounce just because the price of silver is $50.
Right.
Similarly for gold, I mean we're targeting $1,500 an ounce or less in our gold production to be able to we've seen cycles, and yeah, we're in a good cycle now, and I don't want to be Debbie Downer in that, but we gotta plan, set ourselves up that we can survive at lower prices, and at these prices we thrive and even grow even more and create more value for shareholders.
Right.
Can I just call a cut so that, because it's going to look really odd that light just...
Yeah, it's motion activated, so if you keep moving your hands around, it will stay on.
Fine. I'm just going to, so that I know where that...
Tony, in the last 2 or so years, the gold and silver price have doubled. How do you future-proof the business given that the metal prices can go down as well as up?
Well, we have to recognize we're a cyclical business. So what we have to do is we have to build our business to make sure that our costs are in the lower half of the cost curve for the industry.
Right.
And if we stay there, we can, not only do we do well and thrive at these gold prices, but then and metal prices, but we can, we definitely be able to sustain ourselves at lower metal prices. Right.
And if we think of the current production from Porcupine for this 2025 year is around about 250,000 ounces of gold a year, is that?
That's for the 2025 year, yes.
And then where can that get to in the next few years? If we look out to 2030, say, what's an aspirational possibility for Porcupine?
Well, I mean, the real, again, when we're picking up Porcupine, really felt that there's an opportunity here to turn this into a tier 1 gold asset. And what is a tier 1 asset? 500,000 ounces a year or plus for 10 years at the lower half of the cost curve.
Right. That's Newmont's definition.
Yeah, and we think that's not going to be difficult. We're working towards that. We expect to exceed that substantially. But there's a lot of work to be done, and definitely you can see with the exploration success, we've outlined 15 million ounces of resources. If you say, geez, I'm going to, in order to, the next 15 years, we want to mine that 15 million ounces out. Well, then they give you a sense on what potential it could be there, and as we do it, we do have to do a lot of work. We have to, probably invest in mills, invest in exploration, invest in mines. But, I think it's not unrealistic to think that if we have 15 million ounces, we can mine that out in 15 years.
Well, I could do the maths on that, Tony. 15 divided by 15 is 1.5 million ounces of gold a year, just out of Porcupine before we get to Cordero in Mexico.
Well, actually, it's the math is 1 million a year.
Sorry.
We can try to do it in 10 years.
Sorry,
I don't mind. I don't mind doing it in 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So we could get to 1 million ounces a year at some point out of Porcupine.
I don't think that's unrealistic. There's a path. I don't think it's we should be. We came here not to mine 300,000 ounces a year. Feel that there's enough opportunity that you can definitely grow it to over 500,000 ounces a year, and 1 million ounces a year would not be an unrealistic stretch target to work towards achieving. Right. Remarkable
that Newmont could sell a tier 1 asset, one of the world's #1 mining camps, for a fraction of its NPV. I mean, they're in the business of making gold, and they've walked away from this opportunity.
Well, that's, when you look at really true value creation in our industry, there's a lot of different things we can do to create value, and I know a lot of, definitely having tier 1 assets and running tier 1 assets, and as metal prices go up, there's a lot of value creation there. But the true value creation is when you find assets that are not tier 1 or that are perceived to be tier 2 or tier 3 assets, right, and we turn them into tier 1 assets. That's how we create 5 or 10 or 20 baggers in this industry for shareholders.
Well, particularly if you're using last year's gold price, which, and then the gold price has doubled on whatever that purchase price was, as you have in the case of Porcupine. Tony, can we talk about Mexico? Mexican silver belong in the same portfolio, or silver and zinc perhaps, belong in the same portfolio as Canadian gold?
I guess that's always a challenge. In the end, I think we, similarly when we talk about how we want to position the company, value proposition, we want to be a low-cost producer in whatever we do.
Right.
And I think it's about creating value for shareholders, and whether we're mining silver and or mining gold, if we do it at a high margin and the right margin, then I think that there's value there. They're different industries, and in the end, in the long term, we always look at where, as a management group, what we can really, where we can really add value, and we'll continue to test that. But I think that fundamentally, it's if you have two operations that have significantly high margins, I think that's really the deciding point. And the Cordero, by the way, at $50 silver is going to generate a significant amount of free cash. Right.
Well, you mentioned $13 costs. 50 minus 13 is a lot, and times about 15 million ounces of gold a year is a lot of cash flow.
Yeah, well, it's 37 million ounces of silver equivalent. So 37 million times 20 or 30. $25, $30. That's a lot of money, right?
Right. And so Tony, it sounds like there's a lot to do. If you can potentially get to 1 million ounces of annual gold production in Canada, you've got the world's future largest potential silver zinc producer in Mexico. That's many years of work ahead of you. How many years have you got left in you? Do you need any help to get this done?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's always a valid point. I mean, part of the goal is to create a succession plan. Definitely, there's still a lot of energy, and still, you know, we see a path in terms of what can be created here. But recognizing, and we have a senior team with a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience past in the industry. But you know, I think part of what we're doing to create sustainability for the business and really future growth is as we're progressing, we're working toward training and creating successors for in the business, not just, you know, at the management level, at the operations level, at the senior management executive level, and at the board level. So we're working to transform the company over the next 5 to 7 years.
Right. Tony, I see that the English government are talking about a third runway at Heathrow, which will be in the 2030s. So we hope you'll keep coming back to visit us in London in the 2030s, maybe on the third runway at Heathrow.
Well, we'll take you up on that. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.